A brand new lens for Sony E-mount full-frame cameras, Viltrox 50mm f1.8 lens. Autofocus, by the way. Let's review this. What's good, guys? My name is Oleg Nikitin from Russia with Love. You're watching No Limits On channel, so let's get to the review. Traditionally, let's start off with the kit. It comes in this little box. Also, we have here the velvet pouch, pretty good one, by the way. Also, the plastic lens hood without any coatings inside, pretty plasticky thing actually, a plastic back cap, and the lens itself. The build quality is pretty good. It's made out of metal, by the way, except for the lens hood and the cap, which are made of plastic. And also here we have an aperture ring, which can work in automatic mode, so we control the aperture with the camera, or in manual mode, and we rotate this little ring to change the aperture from f1.8 to f16 or to switch it back to auto mode. Overall, the build quality is pretty good. It's kind of heavy a little bit, and we have a metal lens mount and a pretty interesting thing, which is the Type-C port for updating your firmware right here on the lens. To compare the size and weight, let me take the Zeiss Bodies 85mm lens. It's definitely the same size in terms of height, but it's much thicker and kind of, you know, like a pretty fat lens. This lens is pretty compact, a little heavy, 350 grams, but it's definitely on the smaller side, you know. The filter thread size is 55mm, which is good. You can adapt almost any filter you have right now, because 55 is a little small filter size, which is good. The sharpness of this lens is pretty good. f1.8 is not the best and not the sharpest image right there, and we have a huge vignette as well. But f2.8 is pretty good without any vignette basically, and we get pretty decent sharpness. f5.6 and f8 and f4 are also pretty good, as you can see right here. Also, I can say that this lens at f1.8 is as sharp as G Master 50mm f1.2, which I did a separate review right here, a pretty big one and a cool one, by the way. Good boy, Oleg, good boy. And actually, it's a little softer at f1.8 than the G Master at f1.2, as you can see right here. Overall image quality and bokeh. Let me say that the bokeh is okay on this lens. It's not something outstanding, and we see a little bit of cat's eye shape towards the corners of the shot, and basically this lens is providing you with quite decent and good bokeh. If we compare to 50mm f1.2 G Master lens, we can definitely see the difference. The G Master is the king of bokeh, as people say. The Viltrox, by the way, has 9-bladed aperture, and the bokehs are pretty good. Let's watch the autofocus test of this lens, the maximum settings of speed and sensitivity, and I would say it's a pretty good autofocus. It's fast, it's catching the eye, it autofocuses and tracks me pretty well. You can also see the comparison with the G Master. Probably the Viltrox is a little bit slower than the GM lens, but considering the difference in price, that's okay for this lens for sure. And also I should say that this lens has STM motors. Maybe some of you know it because of the Canon lenses. We have a lot of Canon lenses with STM motors, and those motors are definitely good. The focus breathing and manual focusing with this lens. Let me show you the focus breathing test. Here it is. And actually the manual focusing of this lens is pretty good in terms of the focusing ring itself. It's a very smooth ring, but when you're focusing manually with this lens, you need to twist it a lot to go from the minimal focusing distance to the infinity, kind of twisting and twisting and twisting and twisting, and it's not really fast. It's good for slow and precise manual focusing, but it's bad if you want to focus like from the minimal focusing to infinity in one rack. You cannot do this actually, and it's more of a disadvantage to me than the advantage. In terms of flares, I did a very hard test on this lens basically, and as you can see, it has a pretty dramatic flaring right there. But once again, it's a pretty tough test for this lens. If you're outside and you have a lens hood on, it's pretty okay. But if you do get the sun in frame or something very bright, you will see the lowering of contrast and overall pretty poor performance in terms of flaring. So it's kind of so-so, pretty average performance, let me say. The minimal focusing distance is 55 centimeters, which is a lot. The 50mm f1.2 G Master lens had not that big minimal focusing distance, but it was okay to me. But this lens has 55 centimeters, which is a lot. You can see on those examples that I really wanted to focus closer, but I couldn't with this lens. And this aspect is really disappointing to me. And now about the price. This lens costs $380, which is not a lot, but we have Sony 50mm f1.8 FE lens for much less cash. It's like $250, maybe $300, and also is 2 times lighter and can focus at 45 centimeters instead of 55 centimeters on this lens. So it's a pretty tough choice, guys. Definitely rent this lens, try it out. If it's good for you, probably it's worth the money. So guys, to conclude, this lens is a pretty good one, and basically I did enjoy using it, but it's a tough choice between this one and 50mm f1.8 from Sony. If you don't like that lens, probably this one is for you, and it's not that expensive and showing pretty nice performance. So guys, let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you use this one? Have you tried one? What are your thoughts on the picture quality I showed you? If you did enjoy this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, as I say in my video, and the notifications bell, of course. Also, here is my Instagram and a couple of videos for you to watch next. My name is Oleg Nikitin from Russia with Love, no limits on channel, and I see you guys in the next video. Take care, bye, and thank you very much for watching.